Is going to maybe pop in for a minute or two. But otherwise, we'll just go through this slate and talk through basically what's happening. We just got word that Jalen Williams is out. And what was the other piece of news that I just found out? Jalen Williams being out. I don't know what that is going to do for me exactly. I do think that Giddy, I guess Dort is more playable. I'm debating right now because the Giddy and I like Gigi Jackson today, but we have him starting projected. I think there's also some sites out there that have him not projected starting. And if he doesn't start, I still think he's an interesting tournament play, but I just wanted to throw that out there. He and Giddy being the same price has sort of got me a little bit confused. I did, I updated what my early builds look like for anybody who's a member in our Discord. And hopefully can get things back on track tonight. It was a little frustrating last night because of somehow bubbling a tournament. I don't even know how I had 0 fantasy points like in the fourth quarter of the Boston game, and I had I don't know, that was frustrating. And then on Friday I literally made a stupid decision that cost me $40K playing Jimmy Butler over Fox. So I'm gonna tonight. Look, maybe I'm trying to get it back. Maybe it's the wrong thing to do, but I actually love Fox in this matchup, and I think he's going to get overlooked because of the other value out there. So I'm really into that. I'm going to share my screen and go through what I like tonight. Here we go. Let's grab this. Keldon Johnson being out, I'm not sure if that's going to do enough for me. I think Sohan is okay. I think there's a lot of okay plays with that. I think like everybody on the Spurs give a boost to. But as of right now, I'm not seeing anybody that I need to play because of it. And sort of feeling the same way a little bit about the Jalen Williams news, although I do think that Giddy is interesting. So look, I put my core up here. I think that you could definitely make an argument for, let me just grab it real quick. You could make an argument for certainly, trying to get a little different, not playing all these guys. I like Amen Thompson tonight. I think that there's huge upside. I know he's going to have some ownership, but I'm getting to him more partly because I want to play. I really want to play Fox, and I really want to play Dame Lillard tonight. And I think that in order to do that, I also like the center position. So it's a little bit trickier for me to get to some of the other stuff. But this is what my core is as of right now. I think you're guaranteeing yourself at least 2 from Boston, and then probably a spend up in a lot of cases. So what's going to happen is everybody's going to ignore the first game. And I understand why. I also think it makes a lot of sense, but I am very, very high on the idea of trying to get different with the guard position. So I have the exact lineup with Lillard and Fox, and I just pivoted over to a little bit of the Maxey and Jalen Brunson. So that's sort of what I'm doing. Other things that to look for. I'm just going to go through the games real quick. That's pretty much all I had for the first one. We're waiting for projections to update. So let me just see if I can get an update real quick while we're doing this. Feel free to fire in questions and thoughts. You guys know me. I love doing shows with other people, or I like to have an active chat because I like to go back and forth after I sort of say what I'm going to do, which only takes me a few minutes. So that's that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so going through it, I think you could make a case for Halliburton as another one of those guards. That he really hasn't been the same since the injury and with Siakam there. But I think Siakam and Turner are fine. Didn't get to them myself. Totally fine with it. I think that Giddy is going to get a little bit of a boost here. So Giddy versus Gigi Jackson is an interesting, like I said, the same price point. I also think Dort will get a little bit of a boost as well. And you never know. They may give a little bit of more run to Gordon Hayward, but I just don't think we need the extra value tonight with what's out there. I have Kuzma as a priority tonight. I also really like Koulibaly. And I think that you could make a good case, obviously, for Kispert and Avdia, as well as Tyus Jones. But I just didn't get to all those guys. I do think playing a low-owned Jordan Poole is appealing. But once again, that guard position, I'm overloaded there. And there are 2 centers also that I like quite a bit. So going to be hard to Cornette with his price and Kessler, assuming that he starts. I like those guys quite a bit as well. And if you don't want to play those guys, playing Trey Jameson is definitely an interesting pivot off of both of them at this ownership. We would normally see Trey Jameson getting plenty of ownership here if he does start, But because of the other situations out there with Cornette, especially, I think that leaves Jameson lower owned. So he's an interesting tournament play if you wanted to get creative and maybe fade Cornette or Kessler or something like that and play Jameson instead at 4,100. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think there's a lot of interesting plays in this game where you could stack it, but I went a little bit of a different route. Definitely going to play Kuzma and whatever my biggest buy-in is, and definitely want Gigi Jackson, but that's right now pretty much all I have is like must right now for that game for myself personally. You see on the Houston side, there's a lot of things here. I think it's totally reasonable to play Van Vliet. I love Van Vliet, another guard. The problem, as I said, just keeps going to the guard stuff, which means if you wanted to do something different, you could play Jalen Green because he's got forward eligibility. And I think Jabari Smith, if he starts at the 5 and they don't start Jock Londale, which I don't think they will, but we'll see. You know, it's a matchup where they might because they're facing a big team with Wemby. If Jock Londale starts, then I would probably play him over. Well, he and Kessler would be close. I think I'd probably have a little more Kessler. It's pretty close if Kessler started. Of course, it's all based on who's starting and who's not. But I love Amen Thompson here. He's my favorite play. He's probably not going to start. I think the ownership will be a tiny bit lower than currently projected. And I think that there is so much upside. I can't resist it. I am definitely going to get Amen Thompson shares. Like I said, I do like the Brooks. I do like the Van Vliet play. I am lower on Brooks than the field, but I have no issue if you want to use him. He's 4,300. He's going to play plenty of minutes. No Şengün opens up, usage as well as rebounds, et cetera, and assists, everything actually. So all of those guys would be all these top 5 are very interesting. I'm not going to play Jeff Green. I would play some Jock Londale if he started, but probably still not going to be ahead of Kessler if he starts, and probably then not going to be ahead of Cornette if he starts. Devin Vassell is going to probably be a more interesting play. Now, again, I have too many guards to use him, but I think he gets a little bit of a boost without with no Keldon. I think Sohan gets a little bit of a boost without Keldon. I think Wemby gets a little bit of a boost, but I just didn't get to any of these guys today. So it's just not going to happen for me at the moment. You could even argue Trey Jones, but I personally, unless they start somebody totally different, or they're not going to because he doesn't start anyway. So I don't know. It's for me. I'm not putting as much weight into the Keldon Johnson news as maybe others will. Boston, I have Cornette and Hauser as priorities. I think then you go one of Tatum, Holiday, White. I think Tatum's a terrific play. Even on the back-to-back doesn't worry me at all. Great matchup. Drew didn't play last night. I have no issue if you want to use Drew. And I have no issue if you want to use Derek White. But I personally would try to get to Tatum if I wasn't so hell-bent on my guard love. So that's the only reason I don't have even more. Speaking of the Utah side of it, I think that Kessler is I actually think the projection's a little conservative if he starts. I think if he actually starts, like Kessler's the kind of guy who could put up like a 40 or 50 in a game. Like he's got that in him, and it's not like he's got like a tough matchup without the bigs normally there from Boston. So I will really like Kessler if he starts. I'm not sure they're going to start him. I still think even if he doesn't start, I probably want to take that gamble at what should be lower ownership. And he's already not getting a ton of ownership as it is. Keontae George and Sexton, I think, are fine. But again, I didn't personally get there. Again, fire questions in. I'll just go through this for a minute and then I'll be out of here. All the questionables on Minnesota. As of right now, I'm assuming that they play. I think you could definitely take a tournament shot on Edwards. I didn't get there myself. It's an interesting pivot off of Tatum. I did not personally get there, but that would be my highest level of interest. On the Clippers side, again, Kawhi, Paul George, just no way to know. If anybody's out there, let's play James Harden, and I can always switch over because I've got the late game guards. Partly that's why I like the late game guards. I can switch over and get the whatever's left of this game. Especially if it's Kawhi who's out, then you play George or Harden or both. And if George is out, I'm probably going to end up with Harden just because the way my availability works more than I have George. More than I have Kawhi, although I like Kawhi just as much. He's not going to keep shooting this poorly forever. I mentioned I don't know why this did this. Go back to the original projection. I like the Giannis play quite a bit, but I am personally going with the lower owned Lillard. Sub 10% ownership sounds good to me. Guy's been rocking and rolling lately. I think I like the matchup. I like him at this pace, and I always like him. I know it's not the Bay Area, but when he's near the Bay Area, I'm always a sucker for some Damian Lillard, and I really like trying to take some shots there. And I love the run back with Fox at no ownership. I think this is a really strong play. I think this projection is a little conservative. And I will go out and say that I think Fox is getting 50 plus fantasy points tonight. And I think there's upside to get to 60 plus. So I'm very high on those guys. And that's sort of a rundown of what I'm doing with this slate. So would I go back to Pritchard? Not with, so Pritchard's just for what it's worth. Pritchard is not going to be starting. Pritchard is, his price went way up. And this is a much worse situation than last night. Remember, Drew Holiday didn't play last night. Now we have Holiday and White. So I'd be very surprised if they start Pritchard alongside it. I guess it's possible they do. The Jazz play multiple guards. So I am not ending up with Pritchard, but I think it's an interesting pivot. If you want to go that way, Travis, I have no issue. I personally did not get there myself. Please click the like button, the thumbs up. We really appreciate it. I'm going to wait to see if some questions come in because that's sort of as best I can run down this slate. I will try to update the projection and see what we got in terms of the OKC situation. Let's get out of Boston and let's get over there. Okay, so yeah, they're projecting that Kayson Wallace starts, and Giddey's got a nice projection as well. I'm not going to play Kayson Wallace. I love Kayson Wallace in real life. Again, takes up a guard spot, 3,300, and is more of a more a defender, more of a 3-and-D type of thing. At this point, yes, we've seen some games out of him, but with everybody else and all the other stuff we have tonight, I personally am probably going to be low on this Kayson Wallace, who's going to get a ton of ownership. I have no issue if you want to play him. It's a great matchup. He can get there by accident. He can get to 25 by accident in this matchup. But I like the way my lineups are built without it, and I like the idea of trying to fade what might be an overowned play for a guy who we've seen in this situation before and not get there. And also, we don't have word officially that he's starting, at least not that I've seen as of when this show started. Anyway, all right, guys, fire on in questions and thoughts. Remember, please hit the like button. We're doing these videos for free. Sheets will usually be here, but tonight he had an engagement, so he couldn't make it. And I would encourage anybody who hasn't to check out our site yet. I mean, Sheets' projections, I would call them the best in the industry. Goldie is the only aggregate. He projects, he takes everybody else's projection in the industry. We average them out. It's an unbelievable projections tool. It's the first thing I would have looked at when I was trying to play DFS. So I really hope you guys appreciate that. And on top of it, we also have SaberSim and all of the SaberSim stuff. And we're charging basically the same amount as SaberSim. We actually, I mean, literally like within a couple dollars in every package. And we even have some packages they don't offer directly. So I would really hope that you guys would jump on the SaberSim / TrueDFS train, because we've, like I said, you get all of the SaberSim stuff. You get the TrueDFS stuff. So you get the Sheets projections, you get the Goldie's projections, you get all of Brandon Cruz's content, all of Goldie's content, my content, all of Chan's content for League of Legends, all of Sheets' other content. I mean, we've got a ton of stuff we're offering. And like I said, basically the exact same price as SaberSim itself. So come on in and join us. Appreciate that. All right, so let's see. Brendan loves Wemby. I'm never going to say no to that. Me and Sheets said at the beginning of the year, you play this guy till he's 11K, and he's not 11K yet. So go ahead. And even if he was, you still go there. Is 3 Wizards too much? No, MJ. It depends on the build. I didn't get there because there's enough other plays. But if you ended up with Kispert, Kuzma, and Koulibaly or something like that, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just personally like other spots better than that. And there's just so much good value out there. I didn't end up there, but I have no issue with 3, especially if you're running it back with a Memphis guy or 2. Yeah, Kayson Wallace probably will start tonight. And I am talking about fading him. I'm not saying you have to fade him, but I am probably leaning more towards the fade side than the play side, especially if the ownership is going to be what I think it is if he starts, which may go north of like 50%. And I just think there's a lot of other ways to build today where you don't necessarily need to do that for a guy. I'm just going to take a look back at some of the Kayson Wallace stuff to see if I've got, if we have some stuff we can look at. Like, I think, like, don't get me wrong, on another slate, I would love this spot. He played a ton in the blowout in the last game and crushed. 34 fantasy points was awesome. He started a couple other games. I believe he started that game against the Lakers where he had 19 fantasy points. He's probably, look, he's a very strong play. If you're playing cash, you're playing Kayson Wallace. But I am personally trying to fade him just because I like my build so much without him. And it's not the bus path exactly because his price is so cheap. It's just the other value you're missing out on in order to play him that's got me a little bit. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, basically, for what it's worth. But I do think that like I'm not going to tell people not to play him. I just happen to like my builds without him. And I still may end up with him by the end of the night in my biggest buy-in, but I'm not planning on it as of right now. At the moment, anyway. I like the Giddy idea. Yes, I like Point Blank's first comment. Playing guard and utility. I am playing guard and utility, or center, or I'm doing the double center thing, whether it's Jameson and Cornette or Cornette and Kessler. That's the way that I'm using my center spot right now. How about this? What is that? I don't know what. Are you asking about Drew Holiday? Like, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that is. Or whatever that is. I'm guessing that's Drew Holiday. Yes, Drew Holiday is obviously a good chalky play. Actually, he's not even as chalky as you'd think. Yeah, I'm totally good with the Drew. It's just again, like I like my guards. I like spending on the guards. I like spending because of the way the value is working out. Nobody's going to be spending on the Lillard Fox thing or the Halliburton or the Brunson or the Maxey. And there's just so many good guards with massive ceilings that I think that playing that way is just a reasonable route. And I don't think it's the only route. It's just the route that I'm choosing. I think there's plenty of other ways you guys can go. Lacking on some 3K value. What are you talking about? Why do you need it? First of all, okay. Second of all, Cason Wallace is right now projected. Is he now? Let's see the whole projections. He's got to be the second highest, or the third highest projected player on the slate. I don't know what you mean. How many 3K guys do you want on a slate? Like, you're not supposed to have a bunch of 3K guys in general that are available. It's just the nature of the crazy NBA now. And they did a good job at the beginning of the year where basically anybody who was getting minutes was like 3,800. They've kind of reverted back to their old ways lately, which, I don't love. Oh, Drew. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What do you need the 3K value for? I really don't understand it. Like I'm looking at the slate and like, there's so much value in the 4Ks. I really don't see an argument for like just not playing. Like, I mean, you've got Hauser, you've got Cornette, you've got Koulibaly, you've got Kessler, you've got Jameson, you've got Brooks, you've got Thompson. There's just so many guys to choose from. I really don't know how you need more other value, but sure. Yeah, great. It'd be nice if they were all 1,000 cheaper, but I don't personally think that's an issue for me. I think this is like almost like a too much value slate, and it's hard to decipher between the values. I hope this and Amen Thompson, when he's not starting, the ownership gets lower, and it looks like it's starting to lower a little bit from where we saw it earlier today. All right, because there's nothing else going on, I'm going to just run a quick build and see what we get. And I am going to decide this time, unless somebody wants to give me what tournament to run it for. I don't want to do it for the lottery. It can't be the lottery today. So we got to pick another tournament, and then we are going to run a simulation here. So let me get out of here or let me go down to here. We'll do the contest sim. So first one to say what we do a build on, that's what we do. So I'm going to give it 1 minute. All right. Let's see. We'll go to this, and I'm here ready to click on whatever you guys tell me. Just tell me which tournament. Give me a tournament on DraftKings. Somebody throw one out there. If we don't get one in the next 10 seconds, I'm out of here. Oh, $4. Okay, there we go. Scott, my man, Scott. Scott, good to see you, man. It feels like we lost touch. Still really want to do a show with you and do some strategy stuff at some point. Hectic couple weeks for me and my family, and after that, things should lighten up a little bit. So we can definitely do that then. So we'll do the $4.20 max. I like it, Scott. Let's see what we get. Let's see. Where is it? That's the mini max. That's not the right thing. Did I pass it right away, right off the top? Where is the $4 here? All right. Did I miss something here? Oh, there it is. 4-point play. Very good. Sorry, guys. I wish they were like an order of some sort of structure that I could figure out. And maybe they are that I just haven't figured out yet. So let's do 20. Okay. And we're going to have it build 20 for us and see what we get. So who's the prediction? My guess is there, and we're going to, let's see, like we're leaving the settings at 1 unique as of right now. Yeah. Did I save that setting? Yeah, I did. Right. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go 20 and let me make just a quick change. We'll just do this at 25 and we'll do this at 26. And let's build some lineups. So who are we going to get as the highest owned plays? Throw out who the 3 highest owned plays are, guys, and let's see who's right. We're running a bunch of lineups. Might have missed it, but what's a good pivot for Brooks in that price range? Basically, there's a million of them. First of all, I don't think you need to, I don't look at exact pivots like that. Like, I guess I look at it a little differently unless I love a tier, but I actually like this tier. I mean, it's not a pivot, but Sam Hauser is the best play at small forward, in my opinion. Yeah, Sam Hauser, and then probably Koulibaly for me, I guess. Maybe Kispert at a little higher price, but Sam Hauser's the exact same price. I think you could argue for Lou Dort, but like it's the same play that you're making than you would have been. Hauser, Cornette, Jemison. Oh, Jemison is not going to be owned like that. I promise you. I can't imagine Jemison is going to be one of the higher owned plays here. My guess is actually that Jemison. I mean, like, look, he's projected to be 5% owned. So I do not think that's what it's going to be. It would be interesting if they took that big of a thing. Okay, so let's go. Oh wow, 20 lineups and we got 40. The highest exposure we have on a player is 4. That's only a forward. Okay, sorry, that's what confused me. So loving the Kuzma, 95% Hauser. Wow, 80% Shea. It is a great matchup for Shea. I didn't get there in my builds because of how strong guard is, but he belongs in that conversation of all the strong guards. And that's what I find sometimes with these, instead of spending all the way up, when you can get the 2.9K guys instead of a 10.5K and a 7K guy or whatever, 7,500. I just find that you end up like, on certain slates where you find the upside is what you're playing for. And I think that the 9K guys are where I'm at. So I love the idea of the Shea thing. I'm totally good with it, but I personally am not getting to that high of a number myself. Gregory Jackson, 80%. Amin Thompson, love it. See, they're going much higher than the field there. They love the Siakam play. I think Siakam is a good play, by the way. If this game's competitive, Siakam and or Halliburton could be awesome. All right. Sorry about that. What else do we get here? Brooks, they have 45%. I think that's a little hot. Kispert, 35%. I'm good with that. And they went overweight Kessler, which I like. 25% Jameson, so he was down the line. But look at the projected ownership. And we have to see if he starts too, by the way. Only 20% Case and Wallace. They're going underweight because of the reasons I mentioned. And I like it. He's got he's got a range of outcomes, but it takes a lot of things to go right for him to actually crush. Now, it's such a good matchup that he could do it by accident probably, but sort of get an idea of where they're at. So basically everybody we talked about, we didn't talk about Malik Beasley. I'm not getting there, but his price, I guess Beasley's an interesting pivot off of Dylan Brooks. Yeah, no issue with that. What else did we get of these percentages of these guys? So they're just like 1 out of 20 for Vassell and Kennard, and then Jabari Smith, 10%. I like the Jabari Smith thing. All right. That seems pretty reasonable to me. Brendan asking houses. That's a lot of stuff, man. So that looks like you're building so that would be a cash game lineup you're building. Oh, Wemby's not cashy. Yeah. Wemby is, there you go. I think you're getting a little different. So, but what you need from Wembanyama, if you're going to build a lineup like that, so now you need Wembanyama to outscore Shea. And if Wembanyama doesn't outscore Shea, you're dead because you have the chalkiest plays at every other position. And I don't like that kind of building. Now, Wemby could outscore Shea by 20 and it looks great, but I don't know that that's necessarily optimal in terms of tournaments. And by the way, let's just see if Wemby is going to get, people love to play Wemby now. They were nervous about it at first. Now they've gotten into it. Where do we have him at projected ownership? Yeah, even he's getting ownership. So I would describe that as an extremely chalky build that I'm okay with. It might cash. I don't think you're winning a tournament with that kind of a lineup because the ownership is going to be so high. That's my take. K-Diz likes Champagny. Yes. My issue with the Champagny thing is, let me just say, he's more expensive than he's been all season. The role is exactly the same. And we've had no Wemby even included for part of that. Yeah, I can't personally get to the Champagny thing unless I was using him in addition to Hauser and maybe Brooks. Where do we even have him? Wait, oops, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, they've got him at what, 19 fantasy? That seems about right. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I'm not excited about it. You're just hoping everything goes completely different than it's been going all than it goes all season. He's going to have an outlier game, 1 out of 8, 8 or 9. Even if he does, is he outscoring the other 4,300s? I don't know if he is. So I'm a little. I personally am not doing that. Yes, he's going to have some nights where it's going to, he's going to get there. I like him in general. Like I'm all about the Spurs futures, but I'm not personally getting there myself. Any Gordon Hayward, not for me. But I get it. Like, I'm actually curious where after the projections updated, let's just double check where they updated to Gordon Hayward. No, yeah, you can see. I mean, if somehow he starts, obviously that's a different story. But no, I don't think you can in good conscience play a lot of Gordon Hayward unless he's starting. I mean, he's 3,600, so sure, but like there's just other plays. Like I just didn't find myself needing that. Like, is Gordon Hayward even a better play than any of these other 3Ks on his team? I don't really think so. He's not like, what is he, 18 minutes? How many minutes has he played last few games? Let me just double check that. All right, let's see. Gordon Hayward. And what did he play? Yeah, he hasn't played more than 18 minutes. He can put up 20. Sure. If you want to throw him in, don't play him and Case and Wallace together. That would just not make a lot of sense. But if he's starting, I think you can certainly play him. I mean, look how deep they are. Look at this team, look how many guys are going to play like regular roles. Like Gordon Hayward is going to have like the 9th most minutes on the team. That's tough. It's hard to get there, So I just personally can't get there unless he's starting. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to say good luck to everybody tonight. I hope you guys absolutely crush it. And, oh, wait, I'm going to answer one of Scott's questions before I get out of here. Thinking more along the lines of MME, how many Boston is too many? There's no number. That's my honest to God take. I think you could play 5 Boston guys and get away with it. Would I do it with what else is out there? No. But I think it's completely fine to play 5. And by the way, we don't know that Cornette is starting. There is an outside chance Xavier Tillman, like they do something weird. I don't think they will. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not Boston's typical nature. But I'm just going to remind everybody, look out for starting lineups. I said it yesterday. We called out, a lot of those guys projected to start were not starters. It made no sense why they were all being projected to start. And basically everybody that was projected to start did not start. Not like almost none of the fringy ones actually started, including the Freeman, which was a terrible play. And I cannot believe how much of the field still played him. All right. Anyway, I'm going to say good luck to everybody tonight. What about Brissett? Why would they start Brissett? He's not a center. I have no reason to think that. Yeah, sure. If you want to play a really fringy play that may play like 12 minutes or 10 minutes. Yeah, sure. Brissett. Yeah, I guess he belongs in the mix. I have no interest in it. So I doesn't even register for me. It's another guy that could get there and literally it may not matter because the other guys are going to outscore him by more. So just not my kind of play. Guys, please click the like before you get out of here. We do appreciate it. We want to keep doing these videos for free. I also do want you guys to please check out what we have offering here. We are literally offering, I think, the nuts basically for, just even the SaberSim sheets and Goldie projections alone are enough to make you go crazy. And Brandon Cruz, in case you guys don't know this, is literally the one of the goats of NASCAR, like just the absolutely awesome at what he does. Obviously, I have a great history, but having a rough year this year in basketball. But you get all of my content for what it's worth. Rhodey, same thing for all of his sports. And then Chan for all the League of Legends for his articles and his plays and all that stuff. So good luck to everybody tonight. We appreciate you guys very much. And